What is your stance on the Book of Enoch? Greetings from London. So this is pretty popular, right? People like to talk about the Book of Enoch. What would you say to this, Jay? Because the main argument is that, well, it's not part of biblical canon. It's part of the Ethiopian canon, but we're not part of the Ethiopian Church, the Monophysitic
it's
Church.
cited in the Book of Jude, so I don't believe in sola scriptura, so I don't have any problem with extra canonical books having valid traditions. So I think that the Book of Enoch is describing a valid a tradition of the angels from Genesis 6. And, if we take the Deuterocanon serious, there's at least 3 places in the Deuterocanon that affirm that Genesis 6 is talking about actual titans or giants. So, I've always had the view that Genesis 6 is talking about angels, even though that's a minority position. The first 3 centuries of the church fathers, the majority position believed that it's angels. After Augustine, that shifts and the majority position becomes that it's just kind of powerful ancient warlords and people like Nimrod or something like this. So the giants, that is. So, but I've always thought it was giants. I've never changed my view on that just because of the Book of Jude. And if you're Orthodox and you have, the full Deuterocanon, there's again Maccabees, one of the Maccabees text, Judith, and one other text, maybe I forget the other. There's 3 texts that explicitly explain that Genesis 6 is talking about actual titans. So to me, that's what it ought to be. But I think this is a legitimate area where people could disagree theologically. You're not a heretic if you doubt giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there is different patristic positions on the giants as well.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I've noticed people like the giants theory is that it allows them to explain the violence parts of the Old Testament. It allows them to understand it much clearly that this is violence against those giants, and so it kind of is like, oh, okay, that sheds a new light, right? But
that's what Enoch says.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons for the flood is that.
So, and also because it sounds really cool and esoteric, but I see the main motivation. Yeah.
But if you look at the end of Judith, I'm going from memory. I haven't looked at this in a long time. I think it's Judith like 16. I forget the Maccabees text. Here it is. Yeah. So 3rd Maccabees 2 cites. It says that speaking of God, you destroyed those who acted unjustly, amongst whom were the giants who trusted physical strength and boldness, and you brought the great flood. So you might say, well, that's just, the warrior class or the Nimrods that want to be worshipped. But if you go and look at what Judith says, I think the term in Judith 16, it's Judith 16, by the way. I think the term is the Titans. So it's even clearer in Judith. Does that make sense? Do you want me to find the text? I can do that. Here it is.
You can take your time, yeah.
So Judith 16 says, but the Lord Almighty thwarted them, his enemies, by the hand of a woman. For the mighty men did not fall by young men, nor were the Titans and their sons struck down, nor did the tall giants attack them. But Judith, in the beauty of her appearance, disabled them. And then there's another text, Baruch 3:24-27, and Wisdom 16:7, and they discuss these being titans as well. Anyway, you can go look these texts up if you want, but they discuss the titans basically.
Yeah, and when you mentioned Baruch, it kind of came to my mind. It's very much off topic, but when it comes to the kind of deuterocanonical debates, like about the deuterocanonical books within Protestants and Orthodox and Roman Catholics and stuff, and this is a point I remember you making in certain wisdom texts in the deuterocanonical books, where a lot of them prophesy Christ, right? Like, so when you mentioned Baruch, I think Baruch 3:36-38 straight up says something like the wisdom of that God descended on earth and conversed with men, right? So like something very explicit like that. And like there's various different texts from these other deuterocanonical books like that as well. I think it was from, it's from the Dewey Rames edition. You can see this. This is our God, and there shall no other be accounted of in comparison of him. He found out all the way of knowledge and gave it to Jacob his servant and to Israel his beloved. Afterwards, he was seen upon earth and conversed with men. Right. So
That's
he's like,
incarnation.
yeah. So I think that kind of tells you, there's a reason why these deuterocanonical books were still considered to be important by Christians historically. It's because they were prophesying Christ.
Oh yeah, they have exactly prophetic texts. They're referenced many times in the New Testament. I understand that. So is the Book of Enoch. But for example, Baruch 3 says, "O Israel, how great is the house of God! How far-reaching are the places that He possesses! It is great; it has no end. It is high and immeasurable. The giants that were born there, those that were renowned from the beginning, became very large in size and were very skilled in war. God did not choose them, nor did He grant them the way of knowledge. Instead, they perished because they failed to attain wisdom. They perished through their thoughtless counsel." And there's one more text, Wisdom 16:7 also mentions the Titans. And again, to me, these are just, I forgot there's 4 of them. These are 4 texts that, to me, suggest that if we take the Deuterocanon seriously, then it's not just talking about men. It says, Wisdom 16:7 says, excuse me, it's Sirach 16:7. There was no atonement for the ancient giants who turned away from God because of their strength. He did not spare the cities in which Lot sojourned, whom He detested because of their arrogance.
I can't answer this question. I can't answer. I don't know.
I mean, all of those things sound pretty demonic to me. So
yeah, but just kind of like neutral spiritual beings. To me, it's most I know is Saint John Damascus talks about ghosts, but he says ghosts aren't real. So he says ghosts aren't made up. But then in the same work, he says dragons are real, by the way, which is there's like a short PDF of it going around. Other than that, I don't think I can really answer that question, William.
I mean, I would say the tendency of, when you read people who talk about these kind of, like people that take DMT trips, or people that do LSD and they encounter these kinds of entities that are elves or whatever, I mean, they typically are saying pretty demonic stuff. So that's a pretty good sign.